up, ladies and germs? A little while back, I posted a video of the Proud Boys, Portland Proud Boys, unmasking Patriot Front members in Portland, and there was a little bit of a scuffle in that is portrayed, a little bit of shoving, a little bit of a scuffle, a little bit of a little bit of violence, enough violence to leave a bruise, just a little scuffle in the video. Some people might wonder, as to the nature here in why is this and why would it seem that this aggression portrayed by Portland Patriots against Patriot Front, why is this aggression being held forward as a positive thing, and or why is it being celebrated? Some people might see a video like this and just think it's gratuitous. It's gratuitous. It's needlessly angry. Some people might think, oh, these poor guys that are Patriot Front guys, oh, they might feel bad for them because they're being assaulted, softly assaulted. And let me say this. Let me help you understand. If you were not understanding the significance and or appreciating the position that Patriot Front found themselves in, these Patriot Front representatives, let me clarify. Patriot Front is not a legitimate, organic, conservative movement in the United States. And from the very first day that they appeared in the media, from the very first day that they appeared in a news stream, in a live stream, they were marching around DC in their khakis and in their matching underwear, their color-coordinated sock choices. The very first day that they appeared, everybody that I know was like, dude, these are not patriots. These are not conservatives. Conservatives are hopelessly individualistic, and as such, maybe probably to a fault, they don't walk in lockstep. They don't dress as a homogeneous collective, and they sure don't all color coordinate and dress the same. It's just, and not only that, but Patriot Front was notorious for covering their faces. And so the whole message was with Patriot Front is that this is representative of this militant conservative, like, militia, and the government agencies are trying to say that white supremacy is the biggest threat, homegrown terrorism, white supremacy is the biggest threat to the United States, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly what appears on the scene but Patriot Front? Oh, like, here, something for the media to focus on. And be like, oh, there they are. There's your militant, conservative threat to American democracy, whatever. Bunch of white guys in khakis. And, The reality is that it's a psyops. The reality is that this is gaslighting the public. And, for all of the problems of America, for all of the problems of our culture, it does not lend itself to legitimate solutions when what appears to be these fake militia groups, probably perpetrated by some federal agency to promote a narrative, that this kind of gaslighting does not promote real conversation, does not promote solutions. We cannot talk about what is wrong with America when we are surrounded by false identities, false actors, false problems being presented to us. This level of inaccurate and inauthentic and disingenuous portrayal, as we see in this Patriot Front group, man, this is so, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting, the level of lies, the treasonous degree that these Americans, who probably are feds, needless to say, man, they're Americans, and to lie to your fellow citizens about the realities of our culture is disgusting. And what else are we to do? What else are we, the citizenry, to do when we are continually presented with these sock puppet liars, these sock puppet gaslit deceptions that are meant to drive our country crazy, that are meant to drive the public to incentivize the factions and the chaos, just fanning the flames of division. And and as such, in the video, certain men in the state of Oregon, confronted these Patriot Front liars and unmasked them and gave them a little shove on their way for their trouble, right? Gave them a little shove on their way. A little bit of conflict, that of all of the problems, of our culture, Patriot Front cannot be tolerated. The lies cannot be tolerated. The disingenuous, traitorous liars cannot be tolerated. I mean, we can have our problems here in the United States. We, the people of America, we can have our problems, and we can work these things out. We can try to understand where one another is coming from, try to hear one another. We can't have these conversations in our culture between one another. We cannot have these conversations when there are disingenuous, sock puppet, traitorous liars that are trying to mix themselves in and be a part, to try to come in amongst us and be a part of what's going on. Because they ain't what's going on, man. They are that tyranny of state power come to bring deceit and the chaos that comes from lies. The chaos that comes from lies. And think about it like this: how can you make a decision if a product being presented to you is being marketed to you not with errors of representation, but fully deceived, you're being fully lied to about a product. You're sitting there looking at a product. How can you make your choice? How can you decide? How can you understand where a thing is, what a thing is, if the marketing of a thing is presented to you in lies? You know, how can we, the American people, the people, not the government agencies, not the political agendas, how can we, the people, have an understanding one to another when what is presented to us is full of falsehood, full of deception, full of misrepresentation? You know, those gentlemen in Patriot Front, there's no place for that. There's no place for that in our culture. There's no place for that level of misrepresentation, disingenuous, inauthentic. I can't talk. It's just lies, man. Patriot Front is lies. You know, I wonder how people on the left would feel if conservatives dressed up in black bloc and walked around and burned down a hospital and tried to blame it on black bloc. How would they feel about that kind of lying, that kind of deception, that kind of misrepresenting? You know, now, understandably, man, you know, people here in our culture, you know, we have our differences. We do not see eye to eye. Right? Is that not the very nature of diversity? We don't see eye to eye. There's diverse positions, diverse points of view. We see things differently. But, you know, in this discussion that we are having as a society, deception is something that only spoils the pot. It you know, it rots the food on the stove. Deception it's not a thing that we can allow to just persist and fester. And I am not suggesting or that violence should be a go-to mechanism for dealing with things that we have disagreement with, but I'm just trying to express and explain that a little bit of scuffle, a little bit of pushback against Patriot Front isn't such a bad thing. A little bit of pushback isn't such a bad thing. You know, that group, the men that participate in that group, I hope that they throw away their khakis and their color coordinated shirts, and I hope they move on with their lives. You know, they're just not part of this discussion. We don't need them. We don't want them. They need to move on. They need to kick rocks and move on. You know, go take care of their families and stop bringing deceit to the table. Anyway, man, that's my explanation for the gratuitous aggression portrayed in the Proud Boys unmasking Patriot Front video. God bless, be true.